Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Jeff Charles, Keelan Ferris, Scott Cosenza, and Mark Angelides. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Every now and again, the C5 panel likes to try its hand at finding news that might otherwise go unnoticed in this rancorous media environment. Some of it's funny, some of it's just plain weird. Each member of our panel comes before you today with hat in hand and with a wild one that we hope will bring you a little bit of laughter. Now, we're a competitive bunch, so let's see who's got the best of the weirdest. All right, panel, who's going to be large and in charge and go first?
I always feel...
Oh, chickens. Come on, step up to the plate.
Yeah, I'm up. So mine now, I didn't want to go first with mine, Lisa, because this is the period where you may have to cover your ears because I'm well aware of your stomach sensitivity. So if I may, I'd like to introduce a story that's been covering not only Joe Biden, not only CNN reporters, it's the cicadas, the Brood 10 cicadas, Brood X cicadas that have been swamping the nation. Now, the story here is that people are actually eating the cicadas, these beautiful bugs. There we go. Cover your ears. It only gets worse.
Mark, I have to interrupt and just say, for those who only speak American English, we're talking about the cicadas.
Cicadas.
Please resume. Yeah.
Oh, apologies.
What did he say?
I said cicadas,
which is, I don't know what that is.
Oh, cicadas. Okay, yeah. You say cicadas, I say
the British English is terrible for this kind of thing, pronunciation. So anyway, people are eating these cicadas and they're sharing recipes online. Now, I've got to tell you, I am probably the only person on the panel this evening, I guess, that has regularly eaten cicadas and cicadas for that matter, both the full body and the full body and the larval form. When I spent my decade or so in China, it's a very popular dish served up on a plate or on kebab skewers for the full-bodied ones. And I got to tell you, they are with a nice cold beer on a summer's night.
Oh, somebody stop!
Dude, Mark.
Stop him right now.
I know that the food in the UK is pretty bad, but is it so bad that you got to eat bugs?
We don't have cicadas in the UK. This is when I was living in China.
Mark, I'm happy to tell you that for the price of a plane ticket, it's all you can eat in these parts right now. You can have your fill.
This is why we can never let the Chinese be in charge. They eat things like cicadas
and bats.
No, this is the point. People in the US are now eating the cicadas. Now, I got to tell you, this is a worldwide phenomenon, not just for cicadas, but whenever there's an overflow of certain bugs, like people tend to eat them. For example, in Australia a few years ago, there was a swarm of moths, and they were covering windows. That's how heavy they were. So people would put them in the crock pot and cook them up. It's not
Mark, that's a decidedly not good enough reason to eat moths for anybody who has a secondary option like anything else. I'm just saying.
So instead of vegan to a meat eater, Scott.
How many thousand moths does a person need to eat to constitute a meal?
Okay, raise your hand.
They were big moths, so probably about 6.
You would consider eating a cicada.
In starvation
I
times,
just lost my faith in humanity from having heard that.
Yeah, I lost my faith in our managing editor.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I think I just won this whole competition. We may stop the thing now and call it a day. What do you reckon, Lisa K. Donna?
Keelan has the floor.
I probably have a worse animal, insect related story. So I'm on the East Coast and we're dealing with cicadas, but thank God I don't live in LA because they have peacocks roaming around Pasadena. So I guess when you don't have to have an alarm clock over there, you just get woken up by a screeching sound of a very pretty bird, but a very annoying one. So
yeah, I mean that's the problem. Apparently there's so many peacocks and they make this horrible noise.
Yeah, I I will take the few weeks of cicadas for the endless peacocks apparently roaming on everyone's backyards, front yards. They'll come up to you at restaurants. So LA just banned residents from feeding them. You know, there's people that have tried to hit them with their cars because the peacocks like destroy property and I guess like have
They're
damaged
so pretty though.
vehicles. Yeah,
They are beautiful, beautiful birdies.
My husband liked deer, and I'm sick of them eating all my flowers.
yeah, well, peacocks apparently aren't any better, and some want them gone the easy way or the hard way. But I guess we'll see some people start to make money on like luring them in and you know capturing them and bringing them to zoos and stuff like that. But it's definitely a problem over there that I would want absolutely nothing to deal with.
Scott,
You know, it's funny that reminds me of when back when I lived in California, that's where I'm from. I had a job where I drove a lot and I was in Orange County and I was in a parking lot after having talked to a customer and I was doing a little bit of work. And I look up and there's just this random peacock just sitting there. This would have been over a decade ago. So I had no idea that this was going to become more of a thing. Back then it was strange, but now it's apparently in that area, they're blossoming.
But that's a beautiful, beautiful experience, Jeff.
It was cool.
Driving around randomly
Jeff,
and a
Jeff, if you-
peacock wanders across your
Jeff,
path.
if you
Beautiful.
harvested and ate that bird, that might have stopped the problem way back when, but you did nothing 10 years ago,
You're
and
right.
look where we are today.
You are
Audience,
absolutely right.
please
I
do
am
not look
complicit.
at,
Send your letters to
our
Jeff Charles.
face
Yeah, it's all
right
your
now
fault.
because peacock could be on the menu for.
okay. We got to change this up, Scott.
They say it's one of the tastiest of the flightless birds. So
Yeah.
No,
would try it.
I'm going to get.
Peacocks are not flightless. Scott.
Burgers.
Peacocks fly.
it's just a line I wanted to throw out there.
They
Everybody knows
fly
it's really
very well. It
penguin.
takes them a while, but they fly.
Everybody
very
knows
well.
penguin.
Story.
Penguin is the best of the flightless bird anyway. So
Go.
Emu.
my story concerns the double album Self-Portrait by Bob Dylan and Mr. Howard Simon of California, who returned it to the University Heights Library in Ohio only 48 years late. He returned it with a $175 late fee that he calculated himself. Now, to his credit, it is a double album, so maybe we really only need to count it as 24 years late, you know, compared to a regular album. We need double the listing time on that one.
So my question is, why didn't he, pay the $175, but sell it on eBay? Isn't it worth something?
Well, they say vinyl is having a comeback, Lisa, and with inflation, who knows? Maybe he could have gotten quite a bit more for it.
I know somebody
I
on
think
this
that
panel that spins vinyl.
Yeah. I am all about the vinyl. I don't own a CD player. I have beautiful vinyl pieces.
Do you spin vinyl as you're eating your cicada sandwich?
Do I spin them? No, I just let them play. But I don't eat cicada sandwiches in this country where I am now. But
they say you can use a
fun.
cicada wing as a replacement phonograph needle in a pinch. That's a prepper tip for the day for you, Mark.
Hey, if you want to go down that route, I can say that I have seen people use them as flossing devices, the wings. But in terms of a record, yeah, I mean, I'm a very honest guy, but I would be tempted to think, well, I'll pay the fine, and then, to be honest, Bob Dylan, I'd probably keep the record, but sell it on. It's probably worth a lot. 48 years old.
All right, Jeff, what do you got for us?
Okay, I've got Trump's pants, and I don't literally have his pants, but there was this whole story about, I mean, I can't remember where he was, but he was standing on a stage and his pants were wrinkled. And I even saw some of this on Twitter, and people were freaking out over it. Like, what's wrong with his pants? What's wrong with his pants? I'm like, why do you even care? Who cares about his pants? But then when I looked at it, and the fact that Snopes even did some investigating on it, and I don't blame Snopes because Snopes claims that people asked them to look into this. But when I saw the picture, I kind of got a little bit depressed because I'm like, that man made all that money. He made all that money, and he can't have a guy to iron his pants for him. I mean, what's going on, Trump? Let's go. And they thought he was wearing his pants backwards. And I'm like, are we going back to crisscross? My first CD that I ever owned. Like, I'm like, no, he's not wearing them backwards, and he's not wearing them backwards. Who cares? But I'm like, but Snopes actually dug deep and found that in 2017, Corey Lewandowski, his former campaign manager, used to steam his pants for him while he was wearing them. So very interesting.
That is a bizarre story.
You know, if a billionaire in the United States of America who's a former president can't have a good valet to attend to his pants, I mean, this is a world I don't even want to live in.
No, no. The important thing about that story is that people actually believe that he managed to. That they blamed it. I saw this all over Twitter. They blamed it on because obviously they want to express it across the aisle, as it were. That Trump is obviously suffering from cognitive dementia of some description, so he put his pants on backwards. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I believe that all of us here are fairly good with our cognitive abilities at the moment. Could we put on a pair of pants, do the zip up, do the button at the top, and then tie the belt behind our backs?
I don't think so. That's some skill.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that shows.
No, Mark, but I could have a pair of
skill.
I could have a pair of pants on and take them off, buttoned and buckled, and throw them somewhere, and then in a pinch grab them and put them on without doing any of that mess backwards. So it's
like when you're running from the police or something.
Listen,
all right. Well, I can
that's
tell.
a Saturday night, Jeff. That's
I can tell this conversation is descending. So we're going to go to my contribution, which is a little video that we're going to roll for you in a couple seconds. So basically, a couple years ago, we took the kids out to Wyoming. It was the first time I was in Jackson Hole. It's really amazing. I mean, it's amazingly beautiful, but you do run into bears there. And but you don't expect one to kind of come into your porch or your home, but the bear comes over the wall. Her two dogs are barking. The bear is going for the dog. She comes out of the house, grabs the bear, shoves the bear back down, and takes her dog. I think she's just amazingly brave. So that's my story.
The story sounds fake, but once you see the video, it's
don't get between a bear and her cubs works for different species, not just bears, humans too, right?
She needs some kind of mental freedom or something for that.
Yeah, don't get between a teen and her puppies.
When Goldilocks strikes back.
Right.
That should have been there.
So we're going to go around quickly and vote. Who's got the most bizarro story? We're going to start with you, Jeffrey.
I got to go with the cicadas. I mean, I can't say anything about it. Like I'm just so taken aback. Like the cicadas, I knew people were eating them, but finding out that my managing editor eats cicadas, that's just depressing. I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't.
You don't have to say it that way, Jeff, just because he did. You can say it the right way.
I feel like I had to say it the way he said it because he's the one that I'm mad at right now for eating.
Okay,
those.
Scott, go vote.
He does set our schedules from time to time, so perhaps we should say it.
I say schedules
he does.
Too.
I too will vote for the cicada story, and I'll say it that way once for you.
Keelan.
I'm kind of over the cicadas or cicadas. I'm not sure how you're saying it, but I'm gonna go with the bear story. Yeah, I'm over the cicadas.
I think the bear story is amazing, but cicadas wins. It's too gross, too bizarre.
I don't get a vote.
Well, you win.
No, you eat bugs. You don't get a vote.
Hey, Jeff, I was going to vote for when you opened up and saying, I've got Trump's pants. That was the win for me. I'm in. You got Trump's pants. I'm your man.
Well, folks, we hope you've had a good time and you've enjoyed our bizarre news segment. Thanks for joining us. And remember, there's nothing more bizarre than our current political climate. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all our TV productions. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, surf on over to libertynation.com. Sign up for our new member zone, just $29.99 for the year. This has been a production of libertynationnews.com, conservative news where truth matters.